All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into some quick Yankees rants, quick Spider Noir updates for everybody, quick 4th of July messages. We bitch about the World Cup. I share a sweet, amazing gift I got from the Bone Crusher and Good Brother Figs. All that good stuff, plus a Cage fact coming at you right now. Pew. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything, and we have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was very busy, very good. Ooh, Schumann just hit a home run. I'm recording this on 4th of July, so happy Independence Day, everyone. We'll get into that in a little bit here. I got the Yankees on in the background. I don't know why I do that. It's becoming an American tradition around this time of year for the Yankees summer swoon, the summer collapse. And the latest excuse is going to blow your mind. But before we do that, I want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day, 4th of July. It's past by the time this posts, but I hope everybody had a good holiday and took some time to enjoy themselves and relax a little bit, and remember, I guess this is the short message I'll say. I'll probably repeat it at the end in the Junction too. We got a lot of problems in this country. I don't think anyone is trying to pretend that we're the perfect specimen of a nation by any means. But I challenge you to find a better place to go. And there's going to be some anecdotal people that maybe do find a better place for them, sure. But when you look at the world around you and what goes on, you don't see millions of people leaving this country to go to other countries. Okay? You don't see people illegally tunneling their way into other countries to escape America. And if you want to leave, you can. There's nobody stopping you, like in North Korea, among others. Okay, so just something to remember. We're not perfect, but there's a reason why every other country has people coming here to be in air conditioning in 2026, to give themselves a chance at a better life. And that's something that, we earned and we worked for 250 years ago. And I hope people just still take some time to appreciate it, even if you're one of those perma-angry, I hate America. Look, you can't do that in any other country. You can't hate your country publicly and get away with it like you do here. So think about that. Okay? Think about be grateful for the fact that you're not only not in prison, you're alive to be able to freely bitch and moan and complain about how much you hate living here and what a dump you think this place is. Because in other countries, that wouldn't happen. At best, you'd be in jail. At best. Look what happened to the protesters in Iran earlier in the year. They're dead. They were mass killing them just for simply protesting. So be grateful for that. Yeah, we got our problems. But you get to complain about those problems because of the country that we built over 250 years. So I hope you guys take the time to enjoy that and be grateful for that and had a good holiday, had a good Independence Day. Because this is the closest thing you're going to get to full on independence anywhere in the world these days. So, anyway, moving on. Quick reminder while I'm freely able to do so without getting arrested or offed in the process yet. Friendly reminder that nothing's going on with the Epstein stuff. They love covering things up and pretending they don't exist. Look what happened to Mitch McConnell. Anyone hear about that story? Real quick while we're on a rant. While we're freely able to rant. Mitch McConnell had a heart attack. Had to be taken to the ER. Don't know his status. This was a month ago. And the politicians and the media covered it all up because they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that they're lying about him being present for Senate business and voting on stuff. He's literally MIA. But they wouldn't have you believe that. They didn't want to tell you. As a month later, it came out that he suffered a cardiac arrest, and who knows what his status is. But in that time frame, his seat has been making moves in the Senate. How's that possible? They love covering stuff up. So don't forget that on this Independence Week. Anyway, we're not here to talk about negativity too much, okay? Well, maybe a little bit when we rant about World Cup, but that's in the Junction. That's the fun stuff. So moving right along. I brought it up before. I'm going to bring it up quickly again, but we're gonna focus our Yankee time on the streams when we're able to do streams. So I think maybe this week we'll actually be able to do a stream Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. They were off or had a day game last week, and I'm not doing day games anymore. Nobody's around. Everyone's working, and I don't feel like getting afternoon agita. So, but they stink. They're a fraud franchise. They're a clown franchise right now. Absolute embarrassment. And the latest excuse is going to kill you because they dropped 7 in a row. They won recently last night, and then tonight, as I'm recording this, they're losing 6-3 to the Twins in the 5th inning Saturday. So the reason they said that they're having trouble, they lost 7 in a row to the worst teams in the league right now. The reason is because they said that the team, everybody got a stomach bug, and they've been fighting that and trying to play through it. And these people clearly think and know that the Yankee fans are stupid. And that the ones that are smartened up to their bullshit, they've been silencing them. Because I've been seeing in the Yankees Instagram page, their post, when they post videos and stuff, they're deleting all comments negative about the Yankees or anything. They post a video and someone says, well, too bad they lost 7 in a row. They delete the post. And they're only keeping up the positive stuff. Now, I know every company does that. But you can tell the Yankees are doing it because they stink at that too. Because what they forget to do is they forget to delete the responses to those negative posts. So usually what happens, you'll see a post that says like, yeah, but they lost 7 in a row. And then someone will reply to that person and they'll tag the person's name and say, couldn't agree more. They're a dumpster fire. And the Yankees PR team will delete the original post but forget to delete the reply. So the reply is still up there. So that's how you know that there was a negative comment that was deleted. That they are actively trying to remove and hide the fact that fans are starting to wake up to the BS. Because A, no stomach virus makes you forget how to throw a ball to a cutoff man or how to catch a fly ball or a ground ball or what the strike zone is. Okay? The stomach bug is not the reason Austin Wells is batting 150 on the whole season, or that they're losing 4 straight to the last place Red Sox. The stomach bug is not the reason why Jazz Chisholm and idiot Dominguez ran into each other on a routine fly ball, and Jazz clotheslined himself and had to be taken out of the game. And 2, did they have a stomach bug last year around this time? Or the year before that around this time? Or the year before that around this time? When they also had summer collapses just before the All-Star break? Was it the stomach bug then? And how many more seasons do we have to go where they shit the bed right before the All-Star break and then have to fight and claw their way back into playoff contention by the end of the season? How many more years do we have to deal with that before everybody else in the fan base realizes that it's not these bullshit excuses they're giving you? It's not stomach bugs. It's the fact that your GM set up a poor team, coached by a weak manager, and all allowed by a money-hungry owner. That's the reason why they're not World Series competitive. They don't believe they are either. They're lying to you when they say that. Because nobody in their right mind that's been around baseball for more than a season would look at this team that they put out year in and year out and be like, oh yeah, this is a legit playoff contender. Everybody else with half a baseball brain says otherwise every single year. Ex-players, ex-coaches, good analysts, ex-competitive players in college and the minor leagues all say the same thing. They see the team, they said, oh, this is not an actual World Series competitive team. This will be a good regular season team relying on stupid metrics and hoping nobody gets injured because they have no backups. And they use the same excuses every year. Stomach bugs. Oh, this guy got hurt, and that's why. Judge got hurt, and that's why. And I heard somebody say, Jake Savicki said it previously, if your team stinks because one player gets hurt, I got news for you. Your team just overall sucks. Okay? If it takes one player to make your team considered to be good, just one player, you don't have a good team. You're putting all the onus and pressure on that player. Which doesn't make sense to me because I said this before to somebody. The Angels had Mike Trout and Ohtani at the same time for a couple seasons in a row. And they were never a playoff contending team. And everybody seemed to understand that. Like, well, you can't build a good team off of only 2 players or only 3 players tops. You have to have a well-rounded team. But for some reason, for the Yankees, oh, we're good because we have Judge, and Ben Rice is having a good year, and Bellinger is above average. And Goldschmidt's doing well considering he's 100 years old in baseball years. You can't build a team off of 3 good players only. I'm not talking about the pitching. That's different. It's a different conversation altogether. I'm talking about offensive lineup. Because even if the pitching is good, they don't have the run support on a regular basis. So they can't afford to have bad pitching games. And you see what happens when they struggle on the mound. They get no run support and they lose the game. And it's not fair to those guys like Bellinger and Rice and Judge and even Goldschmidt. Because then they get shit on when they're struggling. I said this before. They get shit on when they're having a bad stint because the pressure is all that everyone is just relying on them to carry the team. So if they're having a poor outing, everyone's like, oh, well, these guys stinking. Why are they stinking so bad? Why aren't you calling out Austin Wells for always stinking? Just because it's expected doesn't mean it should be accepted. So I'm gonna end it now. because I don't want to. I don't. We'll talk about it on the stream. That's the one good thing about the Yankees sucking around this time. It makes for great live content. So I'll cut us here. We'll focus on the Yankees some other time, but it is frustrating to say the least to watch them right now. Every year around this time. That's all I got to say about that. Real quickly before we get into the good stuff, I'm not going to really do it this week, but I just want to let everybody know, make the announcement again and the reminder announcement that we have hit the deadline to watch Spider Noir on Amazon Prime Video, to where I'm going to be giving out spoilers from here on out. I'll talk about Cage facts. I'll talk about different scenes in the show that I enjoyed that may or may not spoil it for certain people, depending on what they believe to be a spoilie. But we said in the beginning, we said in May, we have until Independence Day to watch it. That's the timeline when I won't talk about it much at all. And I certainly won't give out anything that remotely is kind of coming off as a spoilie. That deadline is come and gone now. So I am no longer held responsible. LPDS is no longer responsible for talking about Spider Noir almost 2 months later, and people get mad about spoilies. If I spoiled it, that is now on you. And we all everyone agreed to it, so it's not like this is a threat or like, screw you guys. We all had this agreement. I just a reminder that the deadline is here, July 4th, Independence Day is come and gone now. So expect more Spider Noir talk. And if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you skip the into the Cage portions if you start hearing anything regarding Spider Noir, because I'm not holding back. I'm just going to start talking about it, and whatever comes out of my big stupid mouth comes out of my big stupid mouth. So that's all I got to say about that. One more quick thing I just remembered. It is very exciting. I'm going to grab this real quick. If you're watching on YouTube land, stand by. If you're looking in YouTube land, you can see it kind of blurry. I'm going to put it closer to the camera so we can see it in focus. This right here is an official starting lineup Mike Piazza action fig daddy. Mike Piazza action fig. I don't know if I came in quiet because I was behind the camera or behind the mic a little too far. Official starter lineup Mike Piazza fig daddy action figure. Okay? I'll stand by 1 second. I had to put it back in the background so I can talk more about it. This was a gift from the Bone Crusher himself, a good brother Figs, a tribal fig chief, just in time for Independence Day, because it is it's a top 5 all-time baseball storyline on why I love Mike Piazza. I thought he was a good player. I never disliked him, but getting this gift from the Bone Crusher was special because of this story. And I'm sure most of you have heard it already. Hold on, Randy. We'll go out in a second, buddy. I'm sure most of you have heard it already. But if you haven't, back in, I don't remember, 2002, 2003, I forgot exactly what year it was, Mike Piazza was struggling. He was getting older, he was on the Mets, and he was struggling, slumping, not playing well. And for some cockamamie reason, this rumor started that he was struggling because he was in the closet gay, and he was having some sort of relationship with his secret boy lover. Now, this did not come out through social media, obviously. There was no social media back then. There was no common internet forums to talk about this. This was coming out via regular local New York, New Jersey news and newspapers. Okay? Imagine that for a second. Imagine you're slumping. Imagine everyone says Volpe stinks right now or Austin Wells stinks because of a secret gay relationship turmoil he's having with his secret lover. Oh, and by the way, the secret lover is not just some schmo off the street. It is local celebrity newscaster, weatherman Sam Champion, who he's having this secret lover's quarrel with. That's what they said in the newspaper, and it was a headline. So if anyone follows like the New York Post, on the back page of the New York Post is usually their big sports headline. They use the back as like, that's the headline for sports. The front is other news and gossip and bullshit, and then the back is the sports headlines. So if you were getting the New York Post, or if you were a reader back in the day and you were a sports guy, you read the paper backwards first. The front page was the back page, the sports page of the New York Post. And on the quote-unquote sports front page on the New York Post was a picture of Piazza with a quote from him saying, "I'm not gay." And he actually had to fight back on this rumor, trying to convince the world that he wasn't in a slump because of secret gay. He was in a slump because he was older and he was just having a bad stretch at the plate. And that he was not secret gay at all, or gay. He was just regular slumping. And then on top of that, years later, he came out with his book. And everyone still had questions because it was the rumor mill back then was strong. And once something was in somebody's brain, it stuck. Once the rumor was around, it stuck. Like the Marilyn Manson rumor when we were kids that he got a rib removed. I still believe that. People still believe that to this day. That he got a rib removed so he could suck his own pee-pee. Completely unfounded. Zero evidence to support. It just started randomly. He might have started himself. Who knows? But back in the day, if a rumor started like that and it made front page news of the sports section, it's over. You're always going to be secret gay to these people. And let me tell you something, folks. Mike Piazza certainly didn't help the situation because his book came out and he addressed it once again in his book about the whole debacle with the secret gay. And you would think he would just say, hey, it was stressful to deal with. I don't know where it came from. But, I'm married, happily married, kids or whatever. I'm not gay, ha, 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 very funny. No. He decided to make people think he was even more gay by saying something that just, it was almost comedic. Something that I would believe a secret gay would say. Or a secret anything. Somebody who can't get out of the way of their own ego, but also doesn't want a rumor to spread. And he said, "I'm not gay. And here's how I'm going to prove it to you. I was a good catcher when I played and a good hitter. Some would say the best hitting catcher in the league at the time. And he was good. He was batting .300, hitting a bunch of home runs, and he was a catcher. That was unheard of. That's still unheard of as a catcher. Look at Austin Wells. He's the opposite. He stinks at catching, and he can't hit. So he was the best. He was the top of his game, an elite level player at his position in his time. He goes, everything I do, I tried to be the best. Everything I do, I am elite at. So if I was gay, I'd be the best gay around. No one would have to question my gayness. There would be no in the closet gay. It would just be, this is the best gay in New York. And I'd be proud of that. But I'm not gay, and that's why you don't see any obvious signs of gay. Because I'm not. Because I'm straight. But if I was gay, you would know it, and you would be saying, this is the best gay around. Now, when we read that, all that did was solidify that Mike Piazza might be secretly gay with Sam Champion. Not that there's anything wrong with that, folks, but it was the highlight of his career, unfortunately. A very quality career for Mike Piazza, by the way. an elite level career for a catcher. And the highlight of his career was this secret gay story with Sam Champion. And to this day, I don't know if there'll ever be a sports story that takes it out of the top spot, the top 5 for me of all time crazy sports drama. Just we're talking elite level story. And I guess that goes into the defense of Mike Piazza. Everything he does is elite, even his secret gay scandals. But that's the real reason why I'm such a fan of Piazza, because he never played for the Yankees. He played for the Mets. He was an enemy. And then he played for the Dodgers, another current enemy. But when Bone Crusher sent that over, he knew why. He knows why we like Mike Piazza, is because of that whole debacle. So shout out to Bone Crusher and good brother Figs for that incredible. That's an elite level Fig right there. That's an elite level. To me, it's priceless. I don't know what it goes on the market. Art's subjective. That's a priceless piece of work right there. If I had to claim that in a fire and insurance, we're talking millions for that one. So thanks to the Bone Crusher for that. With that, let's just move right along, because I'm flapping my gills and I want to go out and I'm gonna go hang with the creature later for 4th of July. So with that, let's get into the good stuff. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Melon Fingers. We all love watermelon in the summertime. That sweet, juicy, delicious fruit not only hydrates you, but refreshes you with each slice. And we all love chicken fingers and fried chicken too. We always had to settle for eating them separately. Well, not anymore, because Tony Riggs has done it again to bring your favorite combinations together with the all-new Melon Fingies. Now, bite into what looks like a crescent moon-shaped chicken fingy, only to be pleasantly surprised by that juicy melon center. So to really celebrate the summer in style and wow your barbecue guests with some Melon Fingers, head on over to the fruit stand in the parking lot of your local Raising Cane's, and if you use the code BACKUPTERRY, you'll get 29% off your first batch of Melon Fingies. I love watermelon. I usually eat it all year round, but sometimes it's not available all year round. Not the good stuff anyway. Summertime is where it's really comes into play, and it absolutely hydrates the hell out of you. So I also love chicken fingies, as you know. So what a combo. Anyway, the cage fact. Not Spidey Noir. I'm gonna, starting next week, it'll be more Spidey Noir stories and updates for you. But 4th of July update, Independence Day for you guys. This past week, 2 things happened. One, there was a Nic Cage bar crawl in PA. They said Jenkintown, PA. I don't know if that's even a real place or just like a informal name they call a certain part outside the Philly area or whatever. But they had a Nic Cage bar crawl. People had dressed up like Nic Cage and did the bar crawl, which was great. Wish I was there for that. And then Las Vegas has been doing Nic Cage themed 4th of July Independence Day events and attractions for the holiday. A, because Nic Cage lives there, and B, because he's like a national attraction. He's like a local attraction in Vegas because he lives there, and he did Leaving Las Vegas. He did Honeymoon in Vegas as well. And he's the great one. So they've had different themed events. Different bars and clubs have been doing different Nic Cage related things, National Treasure stuff, Independence Day, Declaration of Independence stuff, Leaving Las Vegas themes from the movie that he was in where he was the alcoholic who drank himself to death, all this stuff. So, again, I wish I was there for that too, but if I think his stock is continuing to grow where it should, more worldwide where it should be because of something like Spider Noir, We here at the LPDS love all his stuff and see the talent and the greatness and everything he does because of his performance and his effort. But I'm happy to see that it's continuing to grow. If it took a mainstream, streaming show, a superhero streaming show like Spider Noir to reinvigorate the growth of the Nic Cage fan base, okay, I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to sit here and complain and be like, we were the first here. We're the OGs. I don't care. The more fans, the better. The more that, we'll spread the word on the great one. So I'm happy that they had these events, and it's becoming a big thing, bigger than it was, and still not as big as I think it should be, because I think he's the best to ever do it. But that's personal opinion. So anyway, that's the Cage fact. There you go. You're welcome. Moving over to the Junction. Let's spin the logo up. I don't have a lot to say here. I want to talk about the World Cup and America kind of together with that. Now, first things first, I like soccer. Okay? I know people call it like a girly sport, and it's a fairy sport because the men's teams are always flopping and faking injuries and being pussies about it. And I don't like it. I don't like that portion either. I know why they do it, because there's not usually timeouts. They have the hydration breaks in the World Cup, but there's no timeouts, so that's their excuse to slow the game down for everybody else to catch their breath a little bit. I still think it's weak because the women's teams don't do it nearly as much, and they seem to be able to complete games without having all those breaks. So I definitely hate that, and it's definitely highlighted in the World Cup for the dramatics and stuff. But I still like soccer. I played my whole life up through high school. I would never flop. I think I've said that before. If I was good enough to play in the pros and their coach told me to flop so we can slow the game down, I'd be like, nah, take me out of the game then, because I'm not flopping. I'm not doing that crap. So I don't like it, but I do like the game, and it's hard. It's a hard game, and I appreciated that. There's hand-eye coordination involved with dribbling and kicking a ball and receiving a ball. And you got to be in incredible shape to run back and forth all day long, constant sprinting and running and this and that. And then the good ones are also tough. Like, they're not bitches that flop and fall all the time. They're taking people down and getting after it. So I do like watching the World Cup for that regard, because it's soccer and it's on local channels. What I hate about the World Cup is FIFA is the most corrupt sports organization in all the world, except for maybe the Olympics. And they're like, they brag about it, like they know they're not denying. They're like, no, we run a reputable ship. We run a tight ship here. It's like, no, you pay us, you get favors. Like it's brutal. They did it on both sides of the ball, if you will, for lack of a better term, with the U.S. this year in the World Cup. They gave the U.S. the easiest bracket because it was hosted in North America. It's hosted in North America this year, so they gave the U.S. and the easy bracket to get into the elimination rounds, and gave them essentially no hard games whatsoever. Almost guaranteed them into the elimination rounds where the primetime TV is happening. That's sort of like the agreement they have with, you host the World Cup, we'll make sure your team gets into the elimination rounds of the round of 32. And then from there, then you got to try. But then after they let them get in with ease, they pulled the whole, let's be corrupting. They also don't like America when it comes to soccer for a number of reasons, some valid, some bullshit. So they said, okay, well, we got you in the round of 32. Now it's time that we fuck you over like we always wanted to, because we hate you guys. And they called this abysmal red card on one of the American players, like their leading scorer, for kicking some guy's ankle or stepping on a guy's ankle. And they gave him a red card. No warning, no nothing, just you're out of the game and you get suspended the next game. And they made it so that it was not reviewable. You can't appeal it either. That's the way they made the call. And there are no less than 10 videos out there of this World Cup in different games where other players have done the same exact thing. and they're not even getting called for fouls, let alone getting kicked out and suspended a game. So FIFA is corrupt and bullshit, and I hate that about it. It's like the Olympics. It makes you want to not watch the Olympics because how they treat the athletes, how they don't give a shit about the athletes at all, and they only care about money and image and celebrity status of it. And I hate the Olympics now, not because I think the sports are stupid and boring. No, I love the athletics and the skill set, but I don't want to give them my time or energy or viewership to such a corrupt organization. And it's starting to get that way with the World Cup. I watch soccer in the background. I put on a couple foreign channels and watch it there, like Mexico or Italy soccer or whatever I can get. So it's getting close to the point where I don't watch it at all. Another thing I don't like about it, this is on the American side. I'm going to be a little anti-American here on this Independence Week. I hate how there are still a large swath of people in this country that basically just like what they're told to like. Whether it's politicians telling them to like something or the media or some Hollywood elites or whatever. And they do that with soccer every World Cup. Because America has soccer all year round. Got news for you guys. They have soccer all year round. And nobody here talks about it one bit. Nobody gives a shit about it. There's a few people actually I know, because again, I played soccer, and a couple other folks I know that watch soccer all year round already, because they like the sport in general. But that's few and far between. Generally speaking, nobody gives a shit about soccer until they're told to give a shit about soccer. And again, I could throw my tinfoil hat on and theorize why they do that right now to cover things to make you not pay attention to other stories, like Mitch McConnell having a heart attack but still voting on the floor, shit like that. Who knows what the other, in the middle of the World Cup, Iran is playing in Washington State and the U.S. is bombing them across the pond. Didn't want you to know about that, I guess. So, I hate how people, and then they come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh yeah, I love like, are you going to watch the games? I'm going to get a jersey and watch the game. How are you not going to watch the World Cup? It's the World Cup. Like, dude, you know nothing about soccer. You didn't know soccer existed until you were told that soccer existed. So shut up. If you want to be a fan, cool, but don't do that whole bullshit thing where you like make it your identity and then try to judge people who don't make it their identity. Because you were told to do that. You're a sheep. You're a beta bitch boy sheep who was told by somebody else because it's a trendy thing to do, like they do on the dating apps with the prompts. There's the trendy prompts, like they do with the drinks of the summer. This year it's the Hugo Spritz. You ever notice everyone says in their profile or their story updates or anything, it's a Hugo Sprint Saturday. It's whatever is trendy. They just get sucked into. It's the same with TV shows. Oh, you got to watch Succession. You got to watch the show on Apple. What's that one with Adam Scott? I forgot what it's called. That Ben Stiller produces. You got to watch it. Oh, you got to watch The Bear. Oh, you have to watch it. And then what happens? Like season 1 was great, and then the next season sucked dick. And they still tell, well, the first season was so good, you just got caught up. You got to watch Euphoria. You got to watch, what are the next ones? Confessions and Obsessions or whatever the hell they're called now. You have to do that. Like, why do I have to do it? Because you got tricked into believing this is the cool thing to do, and you don't want everyone, you don't want people calling you out. You don't want to feel left out. You don't want to realize that you're a sucker. You have to watch the World Cup. Shut up. Go Team USA. Name me 5 players on Team USA. I say 5 because everyone's going to name the top guy, Christian Pulisic, however you pronounce his name. Everybody knows that guy. I know him. I don't know anybody else on Team USA. I'm honest, at least. I don't pay attention to Team USA. If one of their players happens to be playing for like an Italian team that I watch, then I'll know who they are. But the Team USA, like the national team, I don't pay attention to much. I just don't like our team. Our guys are not I don't enjoy their type of soccer that they play per se. So I don't watch them that much. I used to watch MLS soccer a lot back in the day when the Metro Stars were a thing, but they got changed a bunch of times. They're like the Red Bulls now. I don't even know where they play anymore. Apparently, I thought the Houston Dynamo was disbanded years ago, but apparently they still play around here, so I might start going to catch some of those games, see if they're any good. Because live soccer is obviously much more fun to watch than on TV. So I might go check that out. Knowing that. But the U.S. side of the house, it's just not my brand of soccer as much. And another reason I don't like Team USA, it's sort of not their fault. But every World Cup time frame, you get their team PR, their PR folks coming in hot, saying this is our year. We're the best. We got Christian Pulisic, and we got this guy and that guy, and we're gonna make a stink in the World Cup and blah blah blah. And then every year they usually get knocked out in the first round if they make it that far to some no name team. So I never expect them to go far because it's like the Yankees. You can't say every year that we're good, or we just got bad luck, stomach bugs, bad luck, before people start to realize like you're just not that good. And you can say that like we're gonna fight, but we're just not that good. No, they constantly gaslight you into thinking that they're the next World Cup contender, and then they feed off of the whole World Cup popularity that people have been tricked into in the U.S. to being part of. But I kind of don't blame them for that because before, like without the World Cup, when that's over, nobody talks about Team USA. Nobody gives a shit about them. So they have to drum up their own attention. So I get why they do it. I just don't like it because it gives me PTSD about the Yankees gaslighting the fan base into thinking that they're good every year when they're not. But I do understand it more so from Team USA because they get no attention at all from fans until the World Cup. I just don't think that they're that great. I don't think they're nearly as competitive as they think they are, or they say they are. I don't even know if they think that. Maybe they do. I hope they do. You really want to believe in yourself, so. But this whole thing with the World Cup, it makes me not want to watch it simply because I don't want to be part of that group that fakes interest and obsession and identity just because they're told to, just because it's a popular thing to do, and they can't not follow trends. They can't not be a follower sheep. They have to do that stuff. They have to be the sucker for whatever is being said to them, whatever they're being convinced to like and be interested in. I don't want to be a part of that. And I go to great lengths to do the opposite a lot of times. And that's a problem. That's a flaw on my part. I admit that. I shouldn't care at all. But I'll purposely not watch a show for years and years and years until the popularity dies down just because these people, that same group of people, is telling me that you have to watch it. I'm obsessed with it. Oh, you're obsessed with it? That means I'm not watching it. Or I'm going to wait until you forget about the show even existing or the sport even existing before I get back into it. Because that's still a character flaw of mine. I'm still a little vindictive like that. Oh, yeah, you like it? Good. I'm never watching it. I'm not touching it. I hate it now. I'll work on it. I know it doesn't follow the big three. I'm working on it every day. I'm trying. But it's tough. I don't tell a lot of people I watch the World Cup and I have all the games on, even in the background during Sticks time. Not because I'm ashamed of it, because I'm still insecure enough to not want to be associated with that BS crowd. With that fake fandom crowd. So I just say, no, I don't watch it. but I do watch it. I had it on in the background. I was just watching Morocco absolutely dominate Canada 3-0. They scored their last goal right at the end, the last minute of the game, to really put it over, but knocked Canada out. And I don't care about any of those teams. It was just soccer. I just like it, and it's on local channels, so I don't have to go digging around the Italian RAI channels or any Mexican channels just to find soccer on TV. So I had it on. I watched the game. I forgot who was playing. Some no-name teams last night. Maybe it was Ghana. Oh, maybe it wasn't a no-name team. Ghana and Argentina or something. I don't know who it was. Colombia. Oh, that was on earlier. I was watching like Ghana, Colombia. Don't care about either of those teams. Had it on. But that's just because I like it, not because I was told to like it. And again, I know it's an insecurity where I'm actively trying not to be associated with a group because I don't want to be part of that group. I shouldn't care at all. Like I said, I'm getting better when I'm working on it, but I still care. I still care to be not part of groups. It's weird. I know. But I will say this. To circle all back to America and Independence Day and the greatness I believe in this country that we possess, something I don't think the media likes. This is certainly when they hate social media for sure. But you see all these foreign fans coming out to America to support their teams in the World Cup. And you're seeing all these videos of them in different parts of the country, not just the standard New York City, Chicago, LA, where it's easy. You can find a lot of things wrong with those areas, those big cities. Houston, too, is no exception. But the other parts of America, regular America, and they're loving it. They're loving it being able to come into a hotel that has central air conditioning. Meanwhile, in their country, UK right now is actively pulling out air conditioning units from people's houses to maintain a quote-unquote net zero. It's bad for the environment. That's their excuse. It's unbelievable that they're going around. Imagine you're in your house right now and the police come. Don't get me started on the police being cucks over there and just following orders. Because who else does that? Who else did that people complain about? The Nazis. Remember them? I was just following orders. But that's what they're doing out there. It's sort of similar to the people here where they think that they're convinced that they like World Cup and TV shows and stuff. And then they sit there and they're like, how can anyone have followed Hitler back then? Or the liberals will be like, how can anybody like the MAGA movement and Donald Trump? And then the maggots are like, how can anybody follow the Democratic Party? It's like, this is how. It's happening. It's easy to convince sheep to follow the crowd. Look at the police in UK. Even the police here sometimes. You hear them, I'm just I'm just doing my job. I don't want to get fired. And I get the threat where it's like, if you get fired, then you can't put food on your table for your family and you're scared about that. But where's how much are you going to blur the lines of morality and ethics for the quote unquote greater good? I know there's a gray area when it comes to protecting your family. I'll do anything to protect my family. I get that sentiment. But you're destroying other families to protect yours, to just follow orders? They got that going on over there. But they come here, as I weave back in. Don't worry, folks. I don't remember what I was saying. They come here and they get air conditioning without persecution for being in a cool building. By the way, America is loaded with air conditioning. Everything is air conditioning, HVAC'd up. And we have 10 times better emissions situation and a green everything than the European countries. So when they tell you it's the ACs, it's bullshit. Don't believe it. Net zero. We got to get net zero. It's bullshit because we're loaded with air conditioning. It's 330 million people here, all air conditioned units, and we're doing better than them in that regard. So they come here, they get to enjoy that. They're going to Waffle House. They're getting biscuits and gravy. They're seeing how the Americans are embracing them in all these different towns. And then I've seen several foreign fans on their videos, and they all said the same thing. If to all my brethren back home in the UK or Germany or whatever, if you want to continue hating America, just keep watching the news. If you want to love America, visit America. And it is completely different than what the news is telling you on how bad and shitty it is here. And America has done a good job, the media has done a good job convincing Americans that we're shitty and the worst ever and that they hate it here. But the message has been made clear by these people actively coming here. People from Japan. I saw videos of them going to Bass Pro Shops and being welcomed with open arms. They're not allowed to see a gun, let alone touch a weapon and purchase one. They were there. They obviously didn't buy them because they're not, they don't have citizenship here yet. But the Bass Pro Shop employees came out and gave them free hats to let them hold the guns, and they took pictures with them and welcomed them with open arms. The Waffle House crew got into a fight with each other just to entertain these Germans and foreigners to be like, hey, you came for a show. We're going to give you a show. Welcome. They're out there partying at the bars and clubs in America and loving it. Everyone's embracing each other and coming together. And that's the real sort of message here to tie a bow on this one for Independence Week is that in real life, we all love each other. We're all human beings who have a lot of commonalities, a lot of common ground. And the things that we differ on in opinions and lifestyle, it doesn't actually make us enemies like the media and the politicians have us convinced that it does. That it's matters of morality and values that we don't share, and that's why they're the enemy. It's not like that at all. And that in the real world, we have different opinions and different lifestyles and different countries of origin, but we can still come together and share in the commonalities and embrace each other and welcome each other and enjoy ourselves. And that's where our power is. That's what I keep trying to, that's what we at the LPDS keep trying to tell everybody here, is that we should all be on the same team in real life, the citizens of this country and even of the world. It's those power brokers that we should be fighting against, but they have us fighting each other. But all you have to do is leave the city centers, the hot spots of political influence, and just go to the regular parts of the country, and really any country you go to. Any country you go to, you do that. You leave the city centers and the power centers, the political power centers, and you see and you start to realize, oh, these people are great. We have a lot in common. We are more the same than we are different. We should be working together. They don't want that, but that's what we should be doing. So the best thing that's happening with the World Cup, to end it on a positive note when it comes to the World Cup, I'm not just bitching about it, is that it brought out that truth on a worldwide stage now. That America is really not so bad, folks. Yeah, we have our problems. We're not perfect. Nobody is. No country is. Got it. But we are definitely doing it better than everybody else, all things considered. And it took every other country to come here and visit and realize it instantly. And it showed us that if we come together, we have the power to change things for the better. We just have to turn the news off. Stop following the political social media pages and the bullshit and listening to those 20-second sound bites or 2-sentence posts that generate outrage on purpose and division. So if you got nothing else out of this rant about the World Cup, just take that message with you. That it's not so bad here. And B, we can come together as a whole. Everyone can come together worldwide to improve things worldwide. And there's still a lot of good in this damn world and this country too. And we have to remember that. We have to be grateful for that. So that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the 3 pillars of staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number 1, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your health and fitness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number 2, the hardest one to do, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. That's number 3. I'm skipping steps. Folks. Number 2, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty negative person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative and shitty, to respond to negativity, take a deep breath, take the LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, and just remove yourself from the situation altogether. Put your phone down, close your laptop, unfollow a page, whatever you got to do, mute somebody's story, whatever. And that will minimize the negativity in your world and make it easier for you to be less negative and shitty and allow you the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things in your lives, like exercising. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this each and every day by taking time to think of at least one good thing in your life or one good thing that happened to you in the last 24 hours and think about what your life would be like without that thing. Imagine you lived without air conditioning. Imagine you had air conditioning and then your government came and stole it from you or arrested you because you had it. That immediately puts me in a state of gratitude that I'm sitting here in an air-conditioned space, not having to worry at all about the police knocking my door down. And the more you're in a state of gratitude, the easier it'll be for you to get out of the negativity and remove yourself from the negativity, minimize it in your world, which will allow you the more capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things like exercising. And if you do these 3 things a little bit each and every day, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, repetition, I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put your notifications on and tell your friends and enemies and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Please hit the hotline, miss the hotline, love the hotline. Give me your questions, your comments, your comedy bits, your advice, your feedback, your prank calls, whatever it is, in the hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.